Whoa! The veil has finally been lifted. We now know what cards to pick up before it's too late. For part the Mistveil. Welcome in, Sneeples. You already know, we do this every single set that comes out. We now know a few of the big keywords coming out in part the Mistveil from those three heroes that were spoiled. Crouching Tiger, Stealth, as well as Spectral Shields. We're gonna look at a few cards that might be a little cheaper, which might be a good pickup. So when the set comes out, you are ready to play, and you don't have to pay those expensive pricing. But first,
do you like this shirt? Well, you can get them at fleshandbaubles.com. You can even use our promo code SNEEP for 15% off your entire order. They got shirts, they got keychains, and they got more to come. So check them out, fleshandbaubles.com. Let's get back to the video.
We'll start off in the assassin category with new. One thing to realize before we go into all these cards is you have to look at her, kind of understand what she might want to be doing. So just keep her text in your mind, as well as we have to remember the other assassins that are playable. Because assassins coming into this new set, which means there might be other assassins in the past, which will gain new cards, and they might become better. First, we'll start off with Redback Shroud. This is a legendary from Outsiders. It has a great ability, which can make your reactions cost one less. It also can come back from the graveyard. You can resurrect it, which is phenomenal if you get a few uses off of this. We know reactions might be big in this new deck due to most of their cards are going to be coming in with Stealth. And Stealth inherently isn't the best stats on a card. So you're usually going to want to do an attack reaction to buff it, make it bigger, give you better on hit, something to make it more worth your while to play. Talk about a couple reactions that might be a good pickup to put on your Stealth card is going to be the Spike Sweep. Spike with Inertia, Spike with Frailty, Spike with Blood Rot. These come in a foiled extended art, which was from an Armory promo. These currently are decently cheap, making things happen, trying to get those attacks through. We already know about Shriek Razors. This card is fairly new, and it can help you get there as well. It's still a cheaper legendary, which in a pinch, you can activate it and make your cards hit if the situation lines up, and you can get that beautiful on hit that you were trying to with your reactions. And if we're talking about legendaries that have a really good ability, comes back from the yard, let's go over Black Tech Whispers. This card has seen a trickle up since the announcement of new, but it is still fairly affordable in my opinion. When this card first came out, Rainbow Foils, you were lucky if they were under $100. Cold Foils were $150, $180. People were excited for Assassins. Gives you the block, gives you the go again, because we know we're going to be reacting a lot in this deck. So the chances of that reaction working works out pretty well in your favor. We'll have a lot of reactions. Some of the good cards which you might want to give a go again or react upon is cards like Leave No Witnesses. This is a powerhouse of a card. 0 for 4 on hit blows up their arsenal and the contract ability. That is great. This is one of those powerhouse Majestics that you usually can be playing a playset of, and so for it to be under $20 isn't the worst. We also have Infiltrate, which is very similar to New's text ability. This just lets you play more things from their Banish Zone. It's going to give you the ability to do more and get more cards in their Banish Zone. And if we're getting all these Assassin cards coming in, we got to think about the OG Assassin, Arachne. I'm just going to be talking about his adult version, Cold Foil, which was that Armory promo. It's still fairly cheap. Now let's jump into my favorite category, Illusionist. So, yet again, we gotta be thinking about Enigma here. What her abilities might be doing, how it's gonna portray to the Spectral Shield tokens. Give it, we will get some new cards for Prism, and maybe, I don't even know if we'll get new cards for Dromai. She might be LL'd by then. We'll have to wait and see. First, let's look at a weapon that can turn on your Spectral Shields into attacks, and then maybe you can present some damage. And that's Reality Reflector. We're gonna be talking about the Cold Foil of this card, still fairly cheap. Another piece of equipment that I love in Cold Foil, Crown of Reflection. This came from Everfest. This card is a little bit older, but it's not that expensive to get a Cold Foil, especially if this headpiece. And we know Everfest Majestics, when they are good and their prices go up. This has not met that criteria, even though non-foil is fairly affordable. So let's talk about some legendaries. Ghostly Touch. It has seen a little bit of play here and there, but this might be the time that it shines. And it's still a legendary that's under like $30. We know Ghostly Touch's ability costs 3 to activate. Our deck's gonna be playing a lot of blues. If we're popping a couple of our Phantasms throughout a longer game, we have those blues to afford to feed into Ghostly Touch to attack. But we're talking about the Rainbow Foil there. The Cold Foils have moved up pretty good. Diadem of the Dream Team. That's another legendary that's kind of different for Illusionists. You look at it, you're kind of like, I don't know where this is going. Ward? Ponders? But it might work. We might finally get some more Ward support in this upcoming set, but this still being under $20 for the rainbow foil, and even the extended art cold foil is not that expensive. Good pickup. Things with Ward that communicate well with it, Celestial Kimono. You can get the rainbow foil or even just the regular for like under $5. That is great. Give it the Marvel, that thing is well and gone. Super expensive. It happens, people kind of spec on that one really quickly. Tomaveo. It stays around, it has Ward. We're back in that Ward mechanic area. And then you get a draw cards, and then it's a blue. Okay, it might be working here. We know we're gonna be dealing with a lot of spectral shields, so spectral procession is kind of a given. It's gonna be a big old attack, hopefully, you know, if we're making shields like we're supposed to. It's gonna be coming in hot, and it's affordable. Flicker Trick, it has seen a little bit of love, but not as much love maybe as it would need. Well, we'll throw that in there. It's a good Illusionist card that hasn't moved up too much. Alright, this one you can take with a little bit of a grain of salt because it is a little more expensive, but it is a great card, and that's Miraging Metamorph. This card, when I bought my playset forever ago, they're about $20 a card. It's not even at that level right now. We know Everfast is only having that one first edition printing. So this card, if it becomes really good, it might hold a higher price. It might move into like the swing big category where it sits around that $25, $30 range. Shimmers of Sealer, that's another powerful card, which is gonna give us more 1/1 counters. It's a blue. All right, let's swipe our way into Ninja because it is Zen time and we need to be talking about our Crouching Tigers and maybe a little bit of the combo cards. We're coming off strong with this one. Blazing Yori the Marvel. This card, it gets better when there's a longer chain link. And what likes to make a lot of chain links? Little tigers that scratch along the way. Talking about our little tiger friends and all the good stuff, the Ira Precon from Tolarian Community College around the table. There is so many Crouching Tiger cards, synergies, and everything under the sun in that. So I would check that out. Another Majestic that is a couple quarters, Heads leads to Tails. It's one that we saw before, never saw that much love, but now with Zen and the Crouching Tigers, it might make a lot more sense going into this new set. Alright, a legendary that it costs a little bit of money, but we've seen it cost a lot more money before, and that's Mask of Momentum. We're going long, we're making big chain links, we're gonna probably get to 3+ chain links. It makes sense. If you can't afford a Mask of Momentum, because that still might be a little expensive, don't blame me whatsoever, we have Mask of the Fountain Link, which is, it's an affordable alternative that's great. I'd say cold foils, but those are getting bought out. There's not a lot of them left to look at. We have Tiger Swipe and Roar of the Tiger. These cards are moving up a little, but they're still not as expensive as they could be. These cards forever were like penny cards. Now they're in the couple dollar range. We're up to see if they can move even further. But if you're playing a Crouching Tiger Zen deck, you're gonna need these in that deck as a playset, almost guaranteed. Winds of Eternity. You gotta think a little bit about this one. Because if we're using cards with combo in our deck, if we're playing the 1,000 Wind cards that come before Winds of Eternity, we might have a handful of those to get Go Again and combo. We might then just want to finish it off with a Winds of Eternity because it's a very strong card that is very good. So this might make its way into the combo line of Zen. And you want to have the best claws in the game, right? Right. Tiger, Strike, Shoot Goes. Those things, powerful. And the ability, the buff, you know, usually in 5, you'll get it off here and there. With all these tigers running around, you're always getting them off because there's so many abilities for it to be hit. Turn Cycle, Tiger Strike Shuko, great card. We can also talk about some promos, such as a Predatory Strike promo. That card is a rainbow foil, EA, Armory, pretty cheap still, mostly just in the blue and the yellows. I think most of the reds have been bought out, but they might come back down a little. So if you're trying to bling it out a little bit, or you might have some old Armory promos in the past that you gotta dredge out, look for them. And say none of these heroes suit you. You don't like any of them, but you want to combat them. You don't want them ruining your day, your armory. You want to come out on top. Let's talk about some cards which might be able to counter these decks. First, let's talk about Snap. We saw this get speculated on before in previous sets, but this actually might work out pretty well. As well as this round is on me. We're blocking out, we're drawing our cards back. Not the worst. We remember when Vi came out, this card was pretty hot. It was able to help kind of shore it back a little and give you a little bit more favor. And I'd say the exact same thing with this round on me. All those little tigers coming in for maybe 1 or so, they're coming in for nothing. feels good. Erase face, it might not be as important as it used to be. I was gonna throw Amnesia in on this list, but that card already shot up. When Uprising came out and Erase Face come out, it was kind of there to help tame back some of those decks which had that synergy. There's also Vambrace of Determination. When this card came out, people were like, yeah, this is gonna be great going into the new Prism, kind of shutting down Spectral Shield. It has not seen that much play yet, which has made the price fairly cheap for the Rainbow foil as well as the Cold foil. But coming into this new set with Spectral Shields, this might be a very powerful piece of equipment to kind of help combat that. And if not, it's just a cheap piece of equipment to throw in your back pocket until it becomes good. There's also Ripple Away, which is beautiful art. You know, it came out the last set or so. It had tigers on it, so we knew something was happening. So that's a point for the card. As well as it kind of turns off some of those token generations, which also is very helpful. It's a blue. Feels pretty good. If you have to attack, you can attack with it too. And then a card that is not anti-specific class, whatever, it's actually just good. And this is for ninjas, especially like Fi or any kind of go-by ninja, which Zen might be with his tigers, and that's gonna be Art of War. We've seen how powerful this card is in the past, and it's kind of always been a staple for ninja decks such as that. But these are the cards that I think might not be the worst pickup before getting into the new set. I don't know if these cards are gonna go up, I don't know if they're gonna go down. I'm not a financial advisor, I don't know what's going on here. But take this all with a grain of salt, use your own opinion to decide if you need these cards going into the new set. Because some of these are affordable and cheap, and they might move up. Also, it doesn't hurt to add new cards into your collection because that's always a good thing. But I also want to give a big shout out to our patrons. We have Blaine, Simone, Adam, Steven, Philippe, Logan the Guardian, Matthew, Torpon, Brandon, John, Jonathan, and Maxime. Thank you guys so much for being patrons. It does help out a lot. Me and Eric are so grateful. You guys are the best. Thank you. I'm really excited to see where part the Mistveil will lead. We've only seen the 5 spoilers so far, so this is just working off the information that we have, but I think it's enough to get somewhere. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.